Heavenly Father, Heavenly Father, Heavenly Father, Heavenly Father, yeah.
Father, forgive me for all the things I did. Infatuated with this game, trying to win. See my sin and been in Mr. Free. Lord, please hear my plea, I'm in misery. Eyes living from teary eyes. I wonder why I'm suffering. Look to the skies. Wanna see the angels hovering. What's your page and number so I can leave my number in? I'm knocking on the door, Lord, let me in. Please hear my woes, cause at stake is my soul. Can't sit and wait, let the drama unfold. Take hold of your wings, can't take it no longer. Dealing with the situation, I'm supposed to be stronger, but it seems I'm getting cornered when I'm the dude.
Do the work. Welcome. How neat is this? Thank you so very much for returning to the GoDaWork radio show. And without no further ado, because we have a lot of information to bring to you, we have the one and only Fred Shaw. And you know him as Red Fred Shaw. And do know that he always wants you to know that just because he has a title, you can still talk to him about anything. He's a real dude. Before he became a rep, he was Fred Shaw before that. All right, one and only. How you doing today? Go to work. Yes, indeed. Absolutely. What a trying, wonderful, experimental week it's been. Yes?
Yes, we have done a lot this week, and we've been part of NAACP webinars. We've been part of Bobby Bucks' panelists on his national show. We've been doing some stuff.
Absolutely. Sure enough. The week went by so fast. I'm like, wow. Absolutely. So, like it's a state of urgency for so much, for people to make decisions, as we say, executive decisions, and people that are just making definitive decisions. So it's a time and a place for, yes or no. And the reason why, and to keep going, still stand with it. Absolutely. So we talked about a lot on the various shows this past week about leadership. We talked about teamwork. We talked about voting. We talked about so much. Absolutely. So, Rev Shaw, what do you see right now in all your experiences in working with communities and your travels? What would you say right now, starting off the gate? What could we do next?
Well, one of the things that we have to do,
yes,
is mobilize with a mindset that brings us together in unison. In other words, they're saying that it is teamwork to make the dream work. Mm-hmm. And so we have to, and one of the things that you, I, Bobby, a lot of us are doing, we're trying to bring in all of the different leaders and clergy and stuff into one fold, so that when we speak pretty much with one voice, and that there's issues such as psychiatric abuse that we at CCHR, the Citizens Commission on Human Rights, fight against, that has been supported with resolutions and actually national law that was passed with the NAACP and the federal government over the years. There's a lot that we can do, but the one thing that we must do is we must wake ourselves up and realize that this is actually an all-out assault. It was not by accident that crack cocaine came into the inner city. It is not by accident that the children on mass levels cannot read, especially since the industrial prison complex benefits from the uneducated who go out and commit crime. Things are by design. They're not by accident. And the one thing that I try to tell most of our people, and I'm not being political or anything, you have to quit listening to what people say, and you got to look at what they do. Mm-hmm. You and I was talking about the Voting Rights Act before we came in, that in 2032, it comes back up to see if blacks have the right to vote again. Mm-hmm. The thing is that should never be. We had a black president. We've had the Democratic Party under Clinton and Biden. We had, not under Clinton and Gordon, Obama and Biden. We've had people there all along. None of this has changed. None of this has gotten better. So my thing is what difference do it make who's in there? And what we need to do is start using our bargaining power to say we don't listen to who's racist, who's a Klan. We don't listen to who love us. We don't listen to that. What are you bringing to the table for us? What are you bringing? We know what you're doing for other people. So what are you doing for us? Right now, the Democratic Party, and I'm a Democrat, so I'm not bashing them, but they haven't offered us one thing. All this, get rid of Trump, get rid of Trump, get rid of Trump. They haven't offered us nothing. So we will at least only be in the same condition that we're in right now because they have not promised to do one thing for us.
Right.
And I don't want to hear about prison reform and children should be able to read. This has been the conversation since at least when Biden and them wrote the doggone crime bill.
Right.
At least we could go back to the 60s. So, I really don't want to hear that. What do you bring to the table? And if you don't bring it to the table, we're going to make you accountable.
Exactly. Absolutely. That's right. So in the meantime, we were also talking about paying attention to our local leadership in the counties that we live in and actually build within and build out.
Well, we have to make sure that every step of government is accountable, from your school district to your city councils to your county government to your state government. Everybody got to be accountable. One of the things that we do so wrong is we try to we vote for judges and stuff, and we know nothing about them. And those people are the ones who make the decisions on if you go to prison or not.
Right.
But these days, these type of people that we don't even know their name. We just look and say, this sound good or whatever. We don't even know these people's capability. We don't know what they are, but we vote for them without knowing who they are. And we just have to be more astute. We will have to set up committees that deal with that.
Right, absolutely. Yes, indeed. And then with that in mind, we talk to a lot of people and, a lot of passion, a lot of fervor about building our own community of council, government, self-governing, and so forth, too. What's your take upon that?
Well, the one thing I want us to be very careful of is I feel we need to separate from white people. Not because all white people are not bad. It is a systemic racism that is white controlled, but it is not white people. Right. We would have never gotten through the Underground Railroad if it wasn't for white people who helped us along the way. We wouldn't have got the civil rights movement done if it wasn't for white people who stood with us. Some of them lost their lives, beaten badly, and they stood with us. So I just want to make sure that we start addressing the correct target, and that's why I'm deaf on this medical model of mental health at the stage that they set. Because if you have a wound and you just treat that wound, and you don't even treat that wound properly, it may not ever truly heal.
True.
But get to what caused the wound, or what caused the lesions, or whatever it is that you have. If you can handle that, you will handle the whole sickness. Right. So I want us to be able to focus on the thing that is causing it. That's why I'm so on this psychiatric abuse thing, because it's just, it underlies and it sits behind all of this stuff. I honestly believe if you got them out of the way, you would find a much better world and community.
Yes.
But that's the main thing right there. As far as us having our own thing, you should have your own thing, but not like, I don't think necessarily for divide. Because, see, we don't have to have that to spend our money in our community. We don't have to have that not to shoot our own people or to use drugs. It doesn't matter who brought the drugs in. Is that we have the choice of using it or not. So I think what we need to do is be more sophisticated in this system, less accommodating when it comes to the things that we know that are wrong. We must be able to have the integrity to stand up and, let us make our schools better, and that will educate our children. Let us recruit kids from our neighborhood to be policemen in the future, and that will start handling law enforcement. Let us make sure that when our kid come out of high school, he goes directly into a training program or into college, but not being in either one is not an option.
Right.
Those are the things that we have to do. And I'm going to tell you another thing. As long as they keep rewarding for non-production,
mm-hmm.
as long as they feed you welfare money and do all those things, then you cannot outgrow the opponent. You will always have that little comfort zone. This thing was not for us to have a lifestyle. It was supposedly to help you during times of need. But then they put in that the father couldn't be in the home. That started dividing the home. It was the first form of control. Now you got boys growing up without dads in the house. You got girls growing up without the father figure in the house. And then you got all these predators in the community that can take advantage of them. And it is the man's job to protect his house. Right. So if he is not there, so that was a trap in itself.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that makes me think about the stimulus checks that's taking place in the second round and all these type of things. And people that don't work, they get just
more money.
Right, exactly. Without asking them too many questions or what have you, just out there. And then the people are just without financial literacy, they're not doing anything. And then the people that's trying to get them to use some of that money as seed money to invest, they don't want to hear it.
Well, again, one of the arguments against reparations would be the fact that our people, on a whole, not everybody, so I'm probably not even talking lower middle class up.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of our people would go out, buy a new car, buy a bunch of clothes, jewelry, look up, and could be broke in no time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know why the government hasn't done it, because the money would be spent. Now, some of us would be smart enough for let's say my wife got one, I got one, we both got $1 billion, and now we take that, we buy us some McDonald's, or we buy some other franchise, we make sure that it works. That could happen. We could buy property, decide to do something with it, or put some condos up, or put, whatever.
Right.
We could do those type of things, and some of us would.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a large percentage of us who are poor, who have never had anything, and the moment they had that money, it would be a showcase. Look at my car, I drive a Mercedes, I do this, I do that. It would be a moment when they could be a big shot, and therefore, spend that money unwisely.
Right.
But, other than that, everybody do what they want with their money,
That's true. So definitely we need another committee about that. Some people just not in the know. They just think it's something that's learned in college, and they don't want to go to college or what have you. But the financial literacy, if they learn what to do with the money, they can help the community that they live in, and ultimately their future family generation, as well as future community of generations. So, yes, with that in mind, we will reconvene again on the task force. Yes, on Wednesday.
We will be with Bobby Buck, I think, Wednesday.
Okay.
Doing information from the CCHR Internationals against racism and modern day eugenics. That task force information is going out every week to everyone that's a member of that. Anybody that wants to be a member of that, all you have to do is be a professional, be a community leader, clergy, but you cannot have been convicted of being an arsonist. You cannot be convicted of child molester or rapist. You cannot be a murderer. Other than that, we have no problem with you. We're not character police. We just want people who want to fight for our community and create change.
Absolutely. And talk about create change, you can always check out and follow cchrint.org. Absolutely. That's for sure. And then follow, I have to start doing some, maybe some flyers, of video flyers, so you all will have access to get to some Facebook, the view from Facebook Live, some of these other meetings that we partake in. So with that in mind, closing, we will put on the video where you can find Reverend Shaw. So thank you so very much, Reverend Shaw. We had 15 seconds. Let's say go to work.
Go to work, go to work, go to work.
Absolutely, absolutely. Until next time, thank you so very much.
Heavenly Father, Heavenly Father.